talking about iconic drum sounds, there's no way around Alex Van Halen. Today, we're finally giving him the credit he deserves and bust a few myths along the way. The rock band Van Halen is one of the world's biggest bands of all time. Ever since the release of their first album in 1978, the band around brothers Alex Van Halen on drums, Eddie Van Halen on guitar, has not only produced some of the most iconic hit songs of the 70s and 80s, but also created a sound aesthetic that is immediately recognizable. Contrary to popular belief, Eddie Van Halen's guitar tone, which has often been called the Brown sound, actually referred to Alex Van Halen's snare drum sound first. Eddie once stated that to him, Alex's snare sounded like beating a log of wood, hence the name. Although the expression later changed its meaning, it still goes to show just how signature of a sound this band has always had. When looking at pictures of Alex's drum kits throughout the years, it becomes clear that he seems to have always gone for a more is more kind of approach. Extensive setups that looked spectacular on stage became his trademark and have led to dozens of different drum arrangements over the course of his career. As a prime example of his playing and sound, we chose the band's album 1984 as a reference for our recreation. Here's the biggest hit off of that record, Jump. And don't worry, we'll get to Hot for Teacher in a minute. During the tour for this album, Alex used Simmons electronic drums, which were hidden behind the octabands behind his bass drums. However, for the recording of the album, he used a combination of Roto Toms and Simmons electronic drums. While the tom setup constantly changed during this period, he stuck with his double bass setup and 2 additional kick drums as well as his Ludwig Supraphonic snare drum most of the time. We took all of this as inspiration and created our own version of an Alex Van Halen setup. The basis of our kit is made up of 2 24-inch Gretsch Catalina Club Series bass drums with clear Remo CS batter heads and 80s style reso heads with huge holes in them, all period correct. The tuning is low, and the drums are muffled with a few pillows and blankets. This produces a very direct attack and lots of punch. Take a listen. For the snare, we chose a Gretsch Brooklyn hammered chrome over brass snare in 14 by 6.5 inch size for that brown sound. We used a clear Remo CS head and taped it up in Alex Van Halen fashion. Here's the tuning. And it sounds like this. We used 2 16-inch Catalina floor toms with clear CS heads. One is tuned medium, one is tuned medium low. We muffled the medium tuned one with a Mr. Muff muffin in order to simulate a Simmons tom pad for the Hot for Teacher intro. We left the other floor tom unmuffled. For the Roto Tom setup, we combined 2 sets of Roto Toms in 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14-inch sizes, all with CS clear heads and tuned medium high. Here's how they sound. We also added a Geva G3 E-drum module, which we used to trigger the Hot for Teacher kicks, and some more Simmons toms on the pads over the floor toms. The 2 auxiliary bass drums on the far left and right are not only for show, they also make for great cymbal stands. Speaking of which, we tried to get our hands on some Pisties, but they just weren't available when we would have ordered them. So we pulled from our Zildjian collection and took it as a challenge to match Alex's sound with different cymbals. The hi-hat is a combination of a 15-inch Avedis bottom on top and a Z custom bottom. The left china is an 18-inch Z custom. Next we have a 21-inch K crash ride, a 20-inch Avedis Crash, a 22-inch Z Custom Ride, a 20-inch Z Custom China, and a 22-inch Avedis Crash. We mic'd the bass drums as well as the first floor tom with Beyerdynamic M88s, the snare with M201s top and bottom, the Roto Toms with a single TG-I51 from underneath, the second floor tom with a TG-I51, the hi-hat and ride with MC930s, and we used M90 Pro X's for the overheads. Lastly, we placed a large Zildjian gong behind the kit, just like Alex. Now here's the result. Pascal's version of Jump. Enjoy.
And I know, baby, just how you feel. You got to roll with the punches and get to work. I ain't the worst that you've seen. How can't you see what I mean?
Finally, let's get to Hot for Teacher. There's been a lot of debate about the intro of the song, so let's listen to that. Some people, including the producer of the album, have stated that the beginning of the song is supposed to be an idling engine, but that can easily be disproven because of the stick click you can hear in there. We used a sample of the Cymbals tom used in the song, and Pascal layered it with the sound of the second floor tom. Here's how that sounds. For this song, Pascal got rid of the bass drum pedals and used a pair of Roland KT10 kick triggers, triggering the original Cymbals kick drum sound. Here's a sample of that. With the mix redone, here's Pascal's version of the Hot for Teacher drum intro. Do you think we got close? Do you have a different opinion on how they made the intro? Tell us in the comments. We hope you enjoyed this video and that we were able to clarify one or two things. A mixing video will be up soon, where Pascal will take you through everything he did to mix this drum sound, so stick around for that. Also, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any new videos. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.